Hi, this is Kat with Beadaholique, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make the long Kumihimo necklace. Now these are exclusive Beadaholique kits, which basically means that you will purchase the entire kit from us, and what you'll get in your kit is you'll get the Kumihimo disc, the bobbins, all the beads needed, you'll get a clasp, your E6000 glue, and you'll get the cord. You will need to add a few things from home, and for that you'll just need a scrap of wire, a pen, a pair of scissors, a Kumihimo gator clip. Now if you don't have a clip, you can always use a bag of pennies with a binder clip attached to it, so that you can just use household items for that. You'll need some blue painter's tape and a ruler. Now let me show you how beautiful these necklaces are. So I have an example here, and these necklaces are about 30 inches long, and there we go, I just want to leave it clasped. They're really fluid and they're really fun, and they have a sort of graduated pattern going down the side, coming to a metallic focal, which is just really nice. And you have this nice strong magnetic clasp. So it should be nice and tight for you. So this is the example that I have right here. This is our blue and rose gold. And we also have 6 other color variations. And today I'm going to do the teal and gold color variation. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so now we're all set and we're going to start our Kumihimo and setting it up. So go ahead and take your S-Lon cord, and for this necklace you're going to need 7 feet of cord 8 times. So just go ahead and measure out your 7 feet here. And you can just kind of eyeball it, but just make sure that you're doing at least 7 feet. All right, so that's my first strand. I'm going to cut 8 more just like it, and then I'll be back to show you what you're going to do with those. Okay, so I've cut all 8 strands, 7 feet each, and I just want to point out that I have plenty of S-Lon, so you don't need to feel like you need to be stingy or that that's not enough, so go ahead and definitely do at least 7 feet. So now I have all 8 strands together, and a couple inches from the tail there, I'm just going to tie an overhand knot with all of them, and just pull that through. And just for some extra security, I am going to double knot that. There we go, pull nice and tight. And then we have all of our strands ready to go. So now I'm going to take my gator clip here and just open it up. And again, if you're just using a binder clip, you'll just need some sort of weight for the pennies just to hold the tension on your Kumihimo. So now I'm just going to place that inside my disc right here. And now I'm going to take each strand, and you'll just see how they sort of want to lay. So I'm going to put this one up here and this one to the side. And what you're doing is you're just sort of separating all the strands here. And you'll notice that I'm putting them on either side of the 4 dots that are on your Kumihimo disc. So I'll put this one here. Okay, and you want to just make sure that's in the center. So you just sort of pull all your strands nice and tight. Okay, so this is the first part of setting up your Kumihimo disc. And now you can see I have all these tails here. Let me get them all up on the table so you see how much cord we're working with. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to add my beads to my cord. But I do want to point out that I'm going to show you how to do this in the right order in order to make your pattern sit properly. So for the first part, and let me just show you on my finished piece here. For the first part of this necklace, which is about 6 inches, it's going to just be all that main color. So for right now, it's going to be that teal color. So I'm just going to load 40 beads onto each strand. Now here's where you'd want to adjust your length if you think that 30 inches might be too long. You'll just adjust the number of beads on each strand accordingly. So let's say you wanted it to be a little shorter. You can do 35 beads on each strand, or if you wanted it to be even shorter, you could do 30 beads on each strand. but I want to let you know that this is the only place that you can actually adjust the length, because once you get to here, it is a pattern. You could take some out of the center here if that's your preference, but these two portions right here where you have that graduation, you can, you just wouldn't be following the pattern that I have laid out for you. So just be aware of that before you start. Okay, so now I'm just going to take my strand that is in between my 31 and 32. So just make sure I have that right strand. And now I'm going to string on 40 of my teal beads. Okay, so now I've strung 40 of the teal beads on this first strand, and I'm going to take my first bobbin, and these are nice and flexible, so you just kind of pop them open. And I'm just going to place that tail in there and just wind it around. And you'll have a lot of cord on this first one, so you'll definitely be winding for a minute. Okay, so I'm going to get about to there, and I'm going to close my bobbin. And you'll see now that I'm going to let my beads sort of hit the bottom there, and I have a little bit of tail to work with. Now, because of what I said earlier with the pattern, you're going to take some of that blue tape, and what you're going to do is you're going to just use this to sort of hold it in place. So just kind of tape your bobbin, just like so. And I'm going to take my pen, and I'm going to mark a number 1. Okay, so that's my first one that is all done. And now I'm just going to repeat that all the way around, and the numbers are going to correspond, and I'll show you this when I'm finished, but just to get you started, this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So go ahead and load 40 beads on each of those and number them appropriately. And I'll be right back to show you how to start your kumi. Okay, so now you should have your disc all set up and ready to go. So it would look something like this. So I have all of my bobbins down here, and they're all labeled with their appropriate numbers. So now I'm going to show you how to do the basic 8 warp Kumihimo braid. So we're going to start with our number 6 down here, and I'm going to release that from the disc, and I'm going to bring it up over right in between the 30 and the 31. And now I'm going to take this strand right here between the 32 and the 1 and bring it down on the other side, so it's coming down between the 15 and the 14. And now I'm just going to rotate my disc clockwise. And that's it. I'm just going to repeat. So you're always going to start with the bottom one here and bringing it up and over, and taking your top one and bringing it down and rotate. So once you sort of get the hang of this, this is really fun and really, really easy. So we're just going to do a good inch or so before we add the beads, because you're going to need a portion to put your clasp. So just keep on braiding and rotating. And you'll start to see here in a few more what it's going to start to look like. And I just want to make a quick note in case you're wondering why I had to use the blue painter's tape. And the reason is because we're going to do this in sections, so you're going to be removing that tape several times. So you want it to stay sticky without making your bobbins sticky. So just go ahead and keep braiding. Okay, so I'm just finishing up my last one here. And what I want to make sure to do when I have enough braided, and you can kind of see down here, I have about 3/4 of an inch, which should be enough to add my clasp. And you can see that nice, beautiful braiding right there. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to finish where my threads are on my dots again. So if you look down here at my bobbins, I have them in order again. So they go 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it doesn't matter where they are on the board, you're just going to want them to sort of be in order as you work around, because that'll help your pattern. So now I just finished this part, so I'm going to rotate. And now we're going to start to add the beads. So go ahead and take off your strand, the same technique, And you're just going to slide one bead down, and you're going to want to make sure that it catches underneath that first thread right there before bringing it across. So you see how it sort of just sits down right in there? So that's what you're going to want to do. And now with every braid, you're going to want to add one bead and sort of slide it down and just tuck it under right there and just continue to rotate. And you'll start to see the beaded pattern develop nicely for you. And slide it over. And you see how they're just sort of being caught by those threads right there? And you'll just continue in the same manner until you've reached the end of your beads here. And I do just want to show you one more trick before I let you go off and finish this portion. So let's say I want to take a break, because this necklace will take you a very long time to complete. Actually, it'll probably take you about 6 to 8 hours depending on how fast you weave. So I'm working on this one thread here, and now I have 3 threads up here, 2, 2, and 1. So now I can put my work down and come back to it later. And when I pick it up, I know that I'm going to start with that 3rd thread, and then I'm just going to continue. So this is a great way to just sort of put it down, and you can come back to it whenever you're ready. But for now, go ahead and continue beading, and I will be back to show you the next portion when you are all finished with your 6 inches. Okay, so I'm just finishing up my last couple of strands here, and you'll notice that I now have 1 bead left on my bottom one, and I'm just gonna slide that down, catch that thread, and bring it up top. Now, if you look down here, I have my nice beading happening and my strand without the beads, which is good. And so I'm just gonna set my work down just to sort of show you what I'm working with here. So all of my strands have no beads left on them, but I have 3 up top here, and this is the last strand, and this is my last little bead right here. And the reason I'm doing this is just to leave my strands so I know where to pick up. And again, you'll notice that my dots have lined up nicely after the 40 beads and the rotations. So now my number 1 is right over here. So I'm just going to sort of set this to the side, and I'm going to take my tape off and unravel my bobbin. And the next section that we're going to do is the sort of tapered section with the beads scattering down through the side. So this is number 1, and in your instruction pamphlet, you'll have the entire pattern to do all 8, but I'm going to do this first one with you so that it's very clear what you're looking for. So for number 1, we're going to start with 5 of your main color, and in this case, it's the turquoise. So there's 5 turquoise. Slide that down. 1 accent bead, in this case, it's the gold. And now I have 10 of my main color. Just double check that's 10. 2, 4. There we go. 1 of my accent color. 8 of the main. Now 2 accent colors, 1 and 2, slide those down, 5 main colors, 2 of the accent, 3 of the main, and 3 of the accent. So now I have these 40 beads on my strand, and now all I'm going to do is I'm just going to rewind it around my bobbin. Now each strand will have a different pattern, and that is how you get the sort of scattered effect. So just pay attention to which thread you're working with, and this is why we number them. And also, if you do want to change up the pattern, do so at your own discretion. But just note that you're going to want to have equal number of beads on each of the 8 strands. So now you can just move on to number 2, follow along in your instruction pamphlet, and you can string the rest of the beads, and then you'll be back and you just continue and you're ready to go. So go ahead and add the rest of your beads and then continue with the next portion. And I'll be back to show you how to do the focal portion. Okay, so I'm just finishing up my last couple from that section and rotating. And I'm going to leave this one here because this over here is my last bead that I'm adding in this section. So now you can see sort of how it's developing. Sort of got that graduated style to it. So I'm going to go ahead and put that down. And what we're going to do next is we're going to do this portion here, which is the metallic focal. So now all you're going to do is work in the same order, and you're going to add 40 beads onto each strand of your metallic focal color. So just go ahead and remove that. Pop open your bobbin, take your thread off, and simply just start stringing your beads. And I'll be back to show you how to do the next portion, which is this portion here, showing you how to degraduate it as you go through the other side. But go ahead and add all of your beads and continue your braiding. Okay, so now I'm doing my last one here. And again, I'm gonna make sure to leave 3 up at the top, and my last bead is on just this last one that I have working here, and my other beads I've worked through them. So now I'm going to show you how to do the reverse order to get that nice scatter on the other side. So I'm going to find my number 1 bobbin here, and here we are. I'm just going to take my tape off, pop open my bobbin, undo my thread, and now we're going to go in the reverse order to add the beads. So I ended with 3 accent beads. So I'm going to start there. So I'm going to pick up my 3 accent beads, do 3 main beads, 2 accent beads, 5 of my main color beads, two accent beads, 8 of my main color beads, 1 accent bead, and now 10 of my main color, 8, 9, and 10, 1 accent bead, and now just 5 of my main color bead. So all I did was reverse the pattern from the first strand, and now I have that going the opposite way. So this is the same thing that you're going to do for all 8, and just follow along in the pattern in your instruction booklet, and you will have that nice sort of scatter going the opposite direction. So I'm going to continue to string on all the rest of my beads and continue my weaving, and I'll come back to show you how to do that last portion. Okay, so I'm doing the last one, well, the second to last one on my weave here. So just making sure again that I just have 1 bead left on that strand. So now all I need to do is we're going to finish it up. And just to kind of show you guys what we're working with here now. So I have my graduated portion, my center portion, the graduated, and then the other end. So now all we're going to do is take off the bobbins one at a time, and you're going to add 40 of your main color, and in this case it's going to be my teal turquoise beads. So now I'm just going to add 40 to each strand. I'm going to finish my weave, and then I'm going to continue to weave without the beads to get another 3/4 of an inch to an inch on the other side. And when I come back, I'll show you how to tie it off. We're gonna cut it off, and then I'll show you how to finally attach the clasp. So we are in the home stretch, and I'll see you back here to do all the finishing work. Okay, so now I'm just gonna finish up my last one here. And now that I have enough of my braid right here, you can see in the center, I'm gonna leave all 4 outstretched there. And let me just bring this all up on the table. And now I'm just gonna take my scissors and just go around and trim off my bobbins. And now I'm just gonna go through and just sort of pull that down and remove my disc, take my strands, tie a nice knot there. And it doesn't have to be pretty, you're just gonna cut this off anyway, just to secure these ends. Go, I'll just take all 4 strands, do a quick little knot at the end. There we go, just to secure those ends. So now I'm just gonna set up to do my clasp. I'm gonna remove all my bobbins here. And I'm gonna take 2 of them actually and unwind them. And in order to not have any waste, I'm going to use these 2 tails to help secure and fatten up those ends to have that nice seamless magnetic clasp. Okay, so I'm going to do one on camera here. And this is a very important step. You're going to take your magnetic clasp and unclasp it, set one side aside. As it is drying, you want to make sure that they don't touch together. So, there we go. I'm just going to get a little bit of glue on my thing there. And now take your end, and you're just going to do a nice knot on one side. Tie that nice and tight. And now we're just going to wrap it around. And this is what I, sort of call fattening up that end, because we want it to be that nice seamless. So you're just gonna wrap that right around there. And just keep it going. Okay, looking pretty good. So just hold that end that I've been wrapping around and have that end from the inside there. I'm just going to tie a little knot. And I'm just going to double knot that. There we go. And you can sort of see how deep the well is on your magnetic clasp, so you just see like how far down you want it to go. And I am actually going to wrap a little bit more just for that extra security. There we go. Okay, and one more knot. There we go. Okay, so now I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to trim off my ends here. And I'm going to cut this braided portion here. So now my ends look like this. Okay, so now just take your scrap of wire or your toothpick and go ahead and get a nice size glob of glue. And what you're gonna do is you're just gonna put it into your well and just sort of swirl it around, make sure it sort of gets all over those edges there. And I'm gonna put a little bit more glue. Try to get it all the way towards the bottom. This is where you really want to secure. There we go. Okay. And now just go ahead and take your end and you're just going to kind of, I like to twist as I'm putting it on. So you just kind of swirl it on and then just press it down just a couple of minutes. And then, like I said, you're going to want to let this dry for at least 24 hours before you want to wear it. But there you go. It looks nice and seamless, and make sure again to not clasp them. So I'm going to finish the other side off camera and I will be right back. So there you have it. That's how to make our exclusive Beadaholique kits, and these are the long Kumihimo necklaces. Now what's great about these is if you've actually already purchased a Kumihimo kit from us, it means you already have your disc and bobbins. So we do offer what we call refill kits, which will actually include the beads, the S-line that you'll need to make it, and your clasp. So you can just get started with this and it'll again come with a full complete instructions, and you can watch this video again if you like. But you can choose from all of our beautiful colors, and you can either purchase a kit from us for the first time, and we know that you'll fall in love with it, so you can come back and buy a refill kit. You can find all of these at beadaholique.com.